Hello, everyone. Welcome to the city. Welcome back to San Lobos. Here we are after that lovely ride back into town. Thank you so much, Mr. Not Elaine. Thank you, Ida. Sorry, Miss Ida. Thank you, Miss Ida. Apologize for that. Bringing us by our lovely college here, Coastal City College. Yes, nice little grounds we got here. Nothing too crazy as far as like design special. I kind of imagine this school was one of those. It was founded a while ago when colleges weren't super big, and it's kind of more of an academic kind of place than a anything. So it really is purely a college, kind of small scale local stuff. Uh, doesn't attract a lot, but here we are. Welcome to San Lobos here in our lovely college district of the Alvarado Quarter, um, where we have lots of dense housing. I imagine many college students are living here. I'm hoping one day soon to build a nice university here sorry, in town here and everything. But today, we're gonna have a little bit more of a toned down stream. Last stream we made a lot of major changes. If you haven't noticed, South Bank is completely different looking now. Originally it was going to be a suburb sprawl, but then just was not getting any low density residential, so I just kind of started slapping down stuff that was demanded, and ultimately it wasn't fitting. It didn't fit the vibe. I didn't like it. So I got rid of it. I completely redid it, turned it into this kind of like little pocket neighborhood. I got this down here, a little pocket, and I think we're going to do, as soon as we get more demand, I think if we get more medium or high density demand, I think we'll kind of start converting this over to more of this stuff and kind of fit this grid like system. And I'll leave maybe a few of these houses down here as like legacy, like people who just refuse to move, refuse to leave kind of thing. And yeah, I think it'll fit better. Because right now, I do like these offices, these high density offices. They look good, but they are a little out of place right here because they're kind of just out of nowhere. And all of a sudden, like, you wouldn't have, I don't think most people would want to live right next to this. So, in their nice big yards and all that. So, yeah. Obviously, there's a reason why low density is usually on the edge of town, because people want space. And as more people move into the city, we lose space. So, I also kind of thought about, like, taking over this, but I was like, so San Lobos is a city based on coastal California, Northern California specifically. Kind of the vibe I went with in Cities Skylines 1, and I kind of carried that with a successor. Originally it was New San Lobos, but I figured, what? So I didn't really document New San Lobos originally, so I'm going to do now, and this can just be San Lobos. Think of it as a alternate timeline, San Lobos, how it grew. And in building that, I am personally from, fortunately, I don't live there anymore just because of life and expenses, and things got very expensive. And from what I hear, it's only getting worse. And yeah, so I unfortunately no longer live in the area, so I don't mind telling people. I used to live in the Monterey Bay area, a beautiful area, amazing. And I was looking at it recently, actually. Sorry about that. I was recently looking at maps of Monterey County again, and the Monterey Bay area. I grew up in Marina, and actually, funny enough, if I zoom out like this, it's almost kind of shaped like Monterey Bay. Really, if you were to take this and kind of hook it down a little bit more here, you can always look at it on the map. But if you were to like kind of bring this out a little bit and give it a little bit of a north crest here, then here, and then if you kind of just curve this into here and kind of made this the peninsula, and then came down, and then kind of cut this out, you would have a pretty good simulation of Monterey Bay. At least the topography of it, not necessarily the density. That would have to be on a much grander scale. Maybe if one day they allow custom maps, maybe I'll dip my toes into that and try to recreate the actual topography and try to actually recreate my hometown. I guess over here would probably be better for a Monterey Bay. Like, kind of where I started, I guess if you look at it from this angle of the map, this would be the Monterey Bay area. This would be the Monterey area with Pacific Grove, and then down to the Carmel Valley and Big Sur would be down here. And then you would kind of curve Monterey around here until you had this area would be Seaside, and then you would have Marina right here, and Salinas would be back here. There would be some ridges like these are. We have those because Monterey Bay is actually a cliffside coming out of the ocean. I learned in school. So we have that's why there's a really sharp cliffs in Big Sur and everything. And so it's got ridges, but it has essentially you would take this fertile valley over here and kind of just switch these two. So put the fertile valley over there, put the mountains over there. And that's kind of what Monterey looks like. And then you know keep going up north, and up there would be like Santa Cruz and all that. If any of you have ever heard of Santa Cruz, either through the skateboarding company or the boardwalk, or the fact that everything was on fire, getting pretty close in the Big Sur area a year or two ago, when the California wildfires were probably the worst I've ever heard of them getting since I've been alive my entire life. But yeah, so today I don't think I'm gonna do anything too radical. Oh, also, I guess down here, if you've seen anything recently, this used to extend over here. I felt like that wasn't necessary right now. I'm kind of going with, from a lot of the creators I have watched, I do watch Cities Skylines 2 content from regular people, but I also watch it from people who, like, they're city planners, they're city planner plays, Yimble, a few others I can't think of right now, Turtles, and some other people who are, like, their job is to do city planning, and so they kind of know, and they also explain as they go why certain things are done in certain cities and why things are placed in places. So I kind of try to do that loosely. I kind of use it as like a loose guideline, but not like a strict policy. We're not building a realistic city here whatsoever, but you know, it's a fun little guideline to keep in mind as I build out the city. So anybody who hasn't caught out, I just kind of want to also, this being my first time actually having commentary during a stream, again, this will be like a short hour stream for right now. I do have some plans I've made in a little bit, so I do want to keep up with those. But I started here. You start with not this interchange. I forget which one you use. I think it's this. I think it's this one. This one you start with, and it's usually right here. This is on the Delta map. Again, I picked it just because it has. I like the river aesthetic, like building up to a river, eventually, and then just a delta because it's the most bay-looking, like coastal feeling city. And I didn't want to do the New York map because I didn't like that barrier island, but I didn't want to take time to actually like sink a whole island and everything before I even start playing the game. I feel like that's stuff for like second city, third city. You know, when you get a couple other towns. And this is my first city of this one currently. Unfortunate. But yes, let me just kind of go over the city real quick. So I started in Old San Lobos. This is the oldest part of the town. It is the original quarter of the area, built out here. I'll just kind of highlight it so you guys can see. So I started around, I'd say, what is called Lobos Avenue. This was the original connection, the legacy connection. The street has not moved. It's just been upgraded and downgraded a few times, but it hasn't moved. Lobos Avenue is the main. Oh, sorry, no, my fault. No, this is a random street. This is the main connection. My bad. This one right here. Welcome Beechwood Street. No, that should be the Welcome Way. Let me just. I hate how you make certain adjustments to the things in the city with the streets and the streets renaming themselves. So I haven't gone through and named every road like I normally do because of that. Also, there isn't the adjustment tool in this game where you can kind of go in here and go like, okay, this is the start point of Pacifica Street, and then I want Pacific Street to end here because I want this to be a different name or something, kind of stuff. You can't really do that because personally, I would like my Coastal Road, I think goes all the way to here, but I would prefer Coastal Road to end here and then this be a different named street just to like let it kind of loop because it should have originally it looped like this and it was named Coastal Road, but now it goes that way. But anyway, so history. We're going over history of San Lobos. So yes, we built out here first. We started lots of low density housing, built up the elementary school and everything. Your typical start of the game. And then we kind of started expanding out this way towards the highway connection. So as we went out, we started old San Lobos, and then we actually left this open for a while. And I actually built up Alvarado Quarter in one initial iteration. It was our industry area. It was our old industry area. And then we progressed to adding Noche Buena Heights, and this was going to be the topographical low density area. But honestly, I feel like kind of like cities do, funny enough. The plan didn't work out that way because by the time we started building up Noche Buena Heights, it was originally going to be suburb, and I was testing out and trying out following topography for the roads because there's a lot of areas where I grew up in Monterey where there's just big curvy roads because there's so many hills. So there's a curve road, and then he kind of maybe has a small road or one road here and there. So from like a top-down map perspective, it's like it doesn't make sense. But when you get down there and you look and you see, oh, okay, it's following the curves of the hills and all that. And then I just had some hard like collector, like not quite collectors, but not quite main roads. Just kind of like throughways that just kind of cut through the hills every now and then in certain points, just so people didn't have to go all the way from here to here through such a windy, longer path, because then it was causing this to get congested and this to get congested because they didn't want to pass through here. So I just built longer straights through. Okay, and then so yeah, it was supposed to be low density, and then it kind of turned into our medium and high density area. Now we have tons of row homes. I did some fun stuff here with the row homes instead of having them look so samey all the time. I just did certain size blocks and kind of went European and American, European, North American, European, North American. And then I did it half as much. So I did one cell, 2 cells here, 1 cell there. And I kind of like it. I feel like it fits better. It gives a little more variation to the houses. And it isn't just one continuous slot where I feel like a small, like maybe 3 blocks, 2-3 blocks, depending on the size of your blocks on one city, it would look fine. But I feel like something like this, it would look like too much. It would just look like you just kind of went and just let it out. And there was no thought put in it. And so then, and I like the idea of like some of them is still existing here. Like these are older, the people have lived here a long time kind of things. And then people, as they move out, the land gets sold and buy up. And then we put in these medium densities, and the bigger medium density plot sizes I've allowed in. So to kind of simulate the land just kind of being bought up more and more, and more people being put into smaller spaces as what happens. So I'd say probably, this is probably the most naturally grown area outside of Old San Lobos. And then Del Monte Square. I wanted to kind of have a feature. So this was going to be just Noche Buena. I added the heights because it's on the hill and because all the tall buildings. Now, Del Monte Square, I wanted a fun little feature. Something that's not necessarily practical, something that's not purely just like, it has to work. It's just aesthetic. I just wanted aesthetic. And so I built this little 6-way star sparks thing with a big roundabout in the middle. That kind of goes. It's fine. I was really worried it was going to kill traffic, but honestly, not a lot of people really come on the traffic here. I'm not exactly sure why, but it's not heavy. It doesn't really receive a lot of traffic. But it was originally going to be like the features of like parks, but then I realized it's kind of silly to put all the parks because then only like Sims in this area would get the benefit, but like not out here would get benefits from them. So I scrapped that idea and I realized I started unlocking the signature buildings for residential. And I was like, oh, I know exactly where to put those. So I got an idea. And so far, every signature building, I now actually have one in all four corners. Here, here, here. Now I put a lot of the park services like, the community pool, skate park, basketball court, plaza, playgrounds. Put all that stuff in here. But I did put the signature residential buildings as like four quarters, kind of like almost like a history. Like this was built first. The canon in my head was like this was built first. It's an old building. It's an old rich people building, and then this one's built over here to kind of play off of that as they got their little fountains and they're fancy and everything. And then this building was built shortly after that as a lower income housing. That actually they bought this entire plot and then kind of sold it off to allow these other places in. And then these places weren't very happy and they wanted to push them out and they wanted the building taken out and all that, the fighting from rich people. So then the rich people left. So rich people have left and they've kind of moved up into South Bank now as the kind of canon. And then, so now these are taken up by lower income and they were dropped down in income. So now it's the prestige of living in a fancy older place for, a little more than say living here, but still not like breaking the bank, And, this building caused that. But then, maybe the idea of like this place is now getting bought up by this one. So, eventually I'm going to move these out. So that to kind of show that this big suite, which funny enough was actually the first building I got. This was actually the last one I've gotten. But either way, it's the fun of it. First building. And then this one's going to start buying up this area. And maybe I'll turn it into like an open park area. To kind of be like, kick the people out. So then it could be a fun little like duality of rich versus poor with, just a small part of the city. I thought about making a gated community, but really there's not a whole lot here. There's some offices, but I don't feel like it's big enough that it deserves or that it would be allowed to be a gated community, especially considering its location in town that you can't really cut off the middle of town, from this half and this half of the city and this south. I think the map orientates north this way. So yeah, the the west and the east side, and then the south and the north sides. So yeah, I redid New San Lobos. It's again going to be just one of those grids brought out of necessity, not really out of design or demand. Just city's growing. We need space. We need roads. We need people. So here we go. And I looked at that looking at Monterey, that there is you can kind of tell the older city areas, the older town parts, because they are kind of built like Noche Buena, where they follow the things and they kind of have small little cul-de-sacs and smaller roads. There's a lot of one-way roads in Seaside, kind of like that. Or they kind of like old San Lobos. But then, maybe South Bank is a good idea of what kind of happens there. We were intending to do this and then bigger growth. And then so now it just turned into grid. And then there's a couple areas I've noticed in Monterey County, between Monterey, Pacific Grove, Seaside, especially Seaside. Like if you look at Seaside, it looks like Manhattan from up top. Like it's orientated kind of this way with the 4-lane street straight from the highway exit, comes right in the middle of town, 4-lane road on either side, and it just kind of cuts through until it remates up with the highway again. And then Monterey grew around that highway as well, and they kind of swallowed up the highway and they kind of made one big huge road to cut through to connect from 2 points of like this highway to this highway, kind of almost mirrored like this, and it would be Fremont Street. So if I were to mirror that, it would kind of come this way and then this way, and then it would meet up here again. So it's kind of like the cities have just devoured it, but it's just straight grid. Like it literally. If you go look at it on Google Maps and look at the satellite view, it literally looks like Manhattan, the island of Manhattan. It's just straight up and down, straight grid. And it's, I think it's pretty wild actually to see that. But, yeah, it's kind of interesting to look at that now, especially that's something I've never noticed even growing up there until now where, I've gotten into playing city games and city builders and, gotten older. I've gotten the curse of, you get older, you stop playing the Call of Duties and the Battlefields, and you start playing the Cities Skylines and the simulation games more. Sorry about that. But finally, we are finally growing again, positively. So that's amazing. Because I had to demolish all of this and all of this. A lot of people left the city. They were not happy. Funny enough, it says we are losing 8 grand a month, but we've built up to 19 million. Literally, my entire expenses is upkeep. I haven't. I'm not quite sure. I'm still working on that. I'm not like hardcore meta looking up guides and all that and working on it through that way. We're just kind of going as we do, you know, kind of just doing stuff, kind of figuring it out as we go, and working on it. My hospital, I think I should add in New San Lobos to that. And where's that clinic at? I gotta remember where I put that clinic. There's a clinic here that I plopped down. Go to my health view. There we go. So this clinic, it serves... Okay, so this clinic serves these 3 districts. And then I want the hospital. Oh no, I don't want it to serve that district. Please don't. Don't serve them. It's a smaller clinic. Hospital can serve... Well, let's see, because it's only 23 people, which is interesting. I do find that to be quite interesting. This one's 59. So I'm wondering if maybe if I turn off districts. So otherwise... Because I have a clinic over here for the industry park for people over there. Like, get hurt at work kind of thing. So, I'm not sure. I'm not exactly entirely sure what's going on. So I'm wondering if maybe... Because I know if you get rid of districts, it will kind of, you know, as it says, within their radius. So, you know, let's just do it. Let's just go ahead and let's do service districts, and let's just select all of our districts. All right. So yeah, this is our industry area, industry park, as I like to call them. I almost always name it that. Just feels right. I don't know. But yeah, so we have our elementary school. Anyone knows we had an incident a couple streams ago, not too long ago. I was menuing, I was doing some stuff, and I didn't realize there's a lot of forest fires. I can tell is one of the natural disasters that happens on this map, but they're usually like way over here and like way out here. So they're really just burning down the old trees, really. You know, it's a lot of times it's so far away. It's not even within city limits. I don't even worry about it. Like there was one time, I don't know if I was streaming, if I was off stream. It was just burning on these islands. Like, and I was just like, what am I supposed to do? I can't do nothing about that. So, yeah. So I ignore it a lot because it's almost never here. Or the few times it was in town, it got taken care of. But one time it started over here and it just kind of cut a swath through here and cut in through and burned down the city, and 93 people died here. It wasn't good. It was not very good at all. It sucked because I learned that these little upgrades, they cannot be bulldozed individually, even if they burn down. So I had to destroy the school and rebuild it and then replace everything. Because I like this little configuration of maybe like when I was in school, we often had 2 playgrounds. Actually, no, we had 3 at my first elementary school. JC Crumpton had 3. Marina Vista just had 1 big one. But either way, my first elementary school had multiple playgrounds. So I imagine like the like K through 2 are here, and then 3rd, 4th, 5th are over here. You know, so kind of the younger. You got one side, the youngest kids. I probably over here because it's more residential houses, safer. You know, you're away from the busier roads and the more commerce area. Maybe the older kids go over here. You know, and then just the clinic, just because it looked like a fun building, a fun extension. And personally, I mean, I know it's a clinic. It kind of looks more like an administration building. Maybe it's just my experience in schooling, but for me, this looks more like an admin building. So I was like, oh yeah, it's the school office. So like the school, everyone comes in here, teachers and students, and then the administration is in this building. So then you know that when you come here, you just kind of come out the back doors of the school, and you just walk straight that way. But then they can always just easily walk here straight into the school and get to wherever they're going. But anyway, I had to rebuild it, and so I decided to rebuild it I kept the curved drop off lane just because I like the aesthetic of, a lot of elementary schools they have that little lane that they're technically on this street, but they have this little lane in their parking to allow for drop offs. Um, and then I was gonna put in a parking lot, kind of simulate like faculty parking over here and over here. But I was like, well, instead of putting it like here for the turnaround one way, I was like, what if I just leave it? Because I mean, personally, it looks better this way, especially now that I have trees. I have so many different kinds of trees. Honestly, just spam trees and building bushes everywhere, and just so I could have some greenery. But every time I keep looking at the game, it's always winter or autumn, which is crazy. But yeah, I feel like summer does not last very long in this game. But I built this in, and I was like, hey, I remember seeing a school like this when I was younger. That they had this bush set up. Their ground level, you can't really tell. Can't really tell too much from ground level, like you're here. I'm just gonna zoom in. Like, from ground level, you're kind of like, they're bushes. Maybe get a vague idea that maybe says something. Like probably elementary schoolers don't know if it says anything. But then I remember it had, I forgot the name of the school personally. Oh, just noticing how curved these lines are. Whatever, it's fine. From this way, it's a little curved. But from above, it's straight. And that's all that matters. But I was like, we're going to build back the elementary school nicer, newer. And in doing that, we're going to plant these bushes to show that we are San Lobos, And so I just put out the city name and bushes. Nothing, not meant to be like anything memorially crazy. It's not like, oh, in remembrance of the 93, there's 93 bushes. Or the 93 lost. Like, no, it's none of that. It was just, it was a good idea. And I was like, hey, I like it. So I went with it. Yeah. So yeah. And then Alvarado, as I've said, Alvarado Quarter was the old industry. It's kind of turned into the college area. I got the soccer field over here because I imagine maybe the school plays soccer. Maybe they have like an indoor basketball facility or something, like a small one, nothing crazy. And then just debating whether to put the football field here or not. And I was like, I'm just gonna have housing. We're just gonna have housing. Speaking of which, unfortunately, someone's going to have to get evicted because I want to put more housing in here. So, sorry, but I think we're going to go business. We're just going to lose a little bit of business. Again, I'm very sorry, but I do want to have any more. Okay. But I do want to have a little more housing in there. Just for the future. Just gonna plop those down in there on the inside. Just so we can have, whenever it comes up, it can be there. Whenever demand comes in. Kind of the idea there. But yeah. So college is a little more toned down just because it was more of a put it here because there's the space. So that's another thing where I'm kind of like, I think it's just kind of like, they wanted a college, but it wasn't a big thing. And then when I do build the university, I want to give it more of its own thing. So like, I don't want to put it over here because this is really steep and it's a hill. And actually the river, as you can see, the river is way higher than the city is. So I hope I never get like a flooding event or anything because that's just going to wash right over this whole thing as it goes to the water. So, yeah, I'm thinking maybe eventually we put the university probably either this area, I'm thinking, or maybe we put it here. Maybe like on the island. Oh, maybe we put it here. Oh, that'd be nice, yeah. We can put it on this island and then we can terraform a lot. We can do a lot of, so let's go ahead. Just because it's bothering us. For no other reason other than it's bothering me right now. So we'll terraform all this. So we'll kind of send the river maybe this way. So we'll kind of curve it and then we'll terraform this way and kind of fill all this in. So that the island, it won't be an island anymore, per se. But it will have the university. I kind of like that as an idea. Like build the university on this. Maybe we just kind of fill in, like maybe fill in here and just kind of give it, and maybe we just let the two rivers, let it have two rivers around it. That could work too, because we could do a little couple bridges to the school. Yeah. Plus, it will help this highway situation we have here with going. Because I probably should curve this way back into the network. Because where I grew up in Monterey, the highway kind of follows the coastline pretty snugly, and it gets like a few points where it gets a little far away, but usually it's pretty close. Like it's as close as they could build it, kind of thing. I believe it's Highway 1. It's either Highway 1 or 101, but I think they overlap in Monterey for a good portion as it goes by the water. But yeah, so there's really nothing built west of that highway. It's all beach and just land because it's so closely up there. Oh, what was that? What was that notification? Oh no. Oh no, I feel like I just missed something. It didn't let me click on it. That was weird. Okay. Anyway. Oh. Oh. Downs. What's going down? What's bad? What's happening? People don't like it. Okay. Oh, it's a heart. Okay, people are happy. Okay, sorry, I thought it was a down arrow. I was like, oh no, what's going on? But it's a heart. It's a heart. They're happy. Also, parking garage. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been working on, and I think we're gonna start that. I feel like that's a decent project. Let's work on that. Because we don't have enough time, so I can't really build in the university and do a bunch of detailing, but we can do a bunch of landscaping. So, I think we're gonna pick. Give us bigger brush side, stronger brush. I think. Let's pick this contour line. So it's kind of like a beach. Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Let's just go ahead and do that. And that'll obviously naturally get flattened out. Yeah. There we go. Just kind of pinch it a little bit just so it kind of fizzles it. And you know what? Let's just, you know what? We talked about it, so let's just go ahead and grab those. 135. Got plenty of money. We still have 42 permits left to build. So, and I kind of want to. So some of the plans for the channel and the city right here is that I want to build here and kind of finish off San Lobos, kind of let it sprawl just a little bit more. And then eventually, looking at the map view, the easiest way to kind of explain this, I eventually kind of want to build a second city. So I kind of want to build like a little town over here. You know, maybe buy like these tiles so you can kind of build a smaller town over here, and then maybe put something small over here, maybe because it's kind of nearby San Lobos. San Lobos is pretty set, so maybe build a smaller town here, and then I kind of want to put like one or two, like maybe a city right here. That kind of, depending on how the topography is in this area. Actually, relatively flat. Actually, funny enough. But yeah, maybe build something here. So that's like kind of like San Lobos grew here, but then we had another city or town grow inland in this area to kind of rival. And then we kind of have two towns, two cities, kind of a twin city thing with maybe one or two smaller cities kind of going. You know, I've always liked the idea watching some creators how they make they make counties. And I've always kind of wanted to do a county kind of thing. I know I probably haven't set myself up perfectly for that right now, but I feel like eventually. Yeah. So, but right now, I think we're good here. I think eventually I'll end up buying at least all the coastline. I won't buy all this. This is kind of just unnecessary. Probably buy all this. Maybe something to get into the shipping lane. And then probably just areas around here. Probably will eventually buy this. Like if I were to select all of that, that is. I actually need 6 more permits to buy all that. So what if I say I didn't buy those ones? So if I didn't buy anything on this side of the riverbank, that would be enough. that would let me buy all of that. But of course, we're not buying any of that right now because we're not using it. Because I've kind of wanted to. Another reason we have so many permits right now is that I've been kind of waiting until I actually need the permits to buy them. Until I need the space. Because at first I was kind of grabbing as, just because they were given to me. And then I was kind of like, nah. You wanna grab those as you need them, Corey. You don't want to buy them just because you can. So then we're gonna kind of come in here and give ourselves a couple fun, like, higher elevations to kind of work too. And we'll kind of soften the terrain around that, just to kind of give it a little bit of a shape again. Maybe reduce our brush size. Kind of bring it up around. It doesn't have to be perfect. It can be messy. It's land. Land doesn't have an idea of how it grows. It just kind of grows up. It just kind of comes. Kind of comes as it does. Comes as it is. And we as humans kind of work with it from there. So, just kind of randomly. A little bit randomly, yes, but there's a little bit of purpose here. Maybe grab that contour and kind of shape it out a little bit, soften it again. So yeah, I kind of like that. I like that. We'll kind of level down to a deeper area here, soften it back up. It isn't just, oh, it's almost sandbar, no need to do it. Kind of give us a reason to have to, build a bridge that we want to put in here. Yeah. There you go. It's kind of a little bit of a butt we put on the island, but I think I like it. I think it's okay. It's a little narrow here. Pretty narrow here. I forget, is there a water flow? I think this will show me. Yes. So, funny enough, the current is pretty strong through here, and I'm guessing because it hits the island, so it slows down. And I'm sorry. Excuse me. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a break. I think it's kind of what happens. Like, a lot of my water just kind of, it goes really fast and then it gets here. I think it's maybe because it's deeper in the rivers than it is here. So I think this water's shallower and that's why it's so much calmer. And then it kind of shoots through this gap. Kind of overall, the rest of it is just very calm. So, very interesting. I know we need to, but just buy that one more permit. This is our little secret. We'll just buy that permit just for that little, so we don't have that weird little bit. Not necessarily. All right, so yeah, we'll have our university, I think, built on this island, as well as maybe a little college town community kind of built over. So maybe it's like a state university, but maybe San Lobos kind of goes, hey, we already got a college, like we don't feel like we can support another, so we're not going to put another. And so then this little town we can build up over here goes, yes, of course, we'll take it. And so, yeah. Yeah, I like the idea of that. So, yeah, I guess let's just put down a few roads real quick, I guess. Yeah, let's put down a few roads and stuff. Let's kind of get an idea of what we're going to do. I guess the other question is, are we going to go fully with the topography on this one? Or are we going to... make it, we're gonna respect the topography, or we're gonna make the topography respect us. It looks generally pretty flat over here, honestly. Like, for the most part, yeah, we got little bumps here and there, but I mean, for the most part, it's pretty much flat. So never mind, it's a pretty flat island. I like it. All right, so I think what we're gonna do. So I'm not going to clear out these trees because then if I can keep old trees in park areas, I'm going to, because it'll just make it easier. gonna go road. Let's get a large road, medium road. Let's get a medium road. Remember, keeping in mind that we're going with like a smaller community. So, where should we make this connection at? I guess that's the next question we think about. Because I guess what we could do is we could force highway traffic to pass through here by eliminate this, back this up, and kind of make the highway come through here and across. So it's here. Or no, because I feel like, because it already kind of comes here. So I feel like we would have to hook it this way and then back. Or maybe we kind of just take it here this way. Kind of cross it this way. No, because I feel like here is like you're bypassing it. And so why wouldn't you just give an even gentler curve and go this way? So yeah, I think first off I need to work on a gentler curve to go this way for the highway and take it off this weird L. Just because this only exists so that this interchange I could just plop down. But I feel like, because I have a lot of large vehicle vans, so then all the trucks kind of come in here, which is where they want to go anyway. So they kind of come in here and then leave and get back on the highway both ways. And the fact that we have at least, 1, 2, 3, 4 outside connections. So like, personal traffic kind of comes in the city that way. Personal traffic comes in this way. And then all the truck traffic has to come all the way down here and in, or it comes here and it's straight in. So yeah, I think, I'll work on the connections in a little bit. I think I'll start with on the physical island itself. So we're going to have a road that kind of goes this way. Imagine probably right through this middle portion, right? It's a little wavy. So what we'll do with the rows, landscape. Let's make that height. It's kind of just. Sorry, wrong tool. Let's pick that contour and let's just kind of go this way. So you can at least be flat on this area. That way it can just kind of, at least our main entryway street, our frontal street, or whatever you want to call it, can be nice and straight. Right. So we're going to have that one. Then let's kind of just go ahead and let's just center across the island. Why not? So again, our island is pretty flat for the most part. So we'll just kind of center, say to about here. I kind of want this road to be in the middle of the whole island, the whole way. So that can kind of be the, it can be kind of the road. Do we really need a little like outlining? I don't know if we need an outlining. So I was thinking maybe we do kind of something like this, and then something down to here, something down to there, connect in there, right? And then we can kind of fun little road, but I feel like a smaller road would kind of be better for that.
We're live, and we're getting reports about a traffic accident.
I feel like that's good. It's kind of just like a arm, a sack. It's like a round area. Kind of a round defined area. Maybe we'll send one collection road. Or maybe we'll just break this up. Yeah, we'll just do that. How about that? We'll just break this up so it's not just one big lump of a thing. So it can kind of be more of a.
That's right, Jim. This
you kind of have more of an idea of what it's going on. So I can kind of do that.
People are being laid off. The
Bring it in
industrial
there.
sector is on the verge of collapse, and worryingly, crime is on the rise.
Yeah. That feels a little more deliberate. That feels a little more like thought out. then just
We'll
kind
have
of just
more
bump up.
after this.
You know, and then if we want to have, if you really, really want to have one, like you can add that there, but that almost feels a little extra just because of topography. Like obviously this height is here and then it kind of drops off. So to build a road across that, like if we're not going to build a raised road for everyday use, that feels like a little extra. So like maybe you could do this here, but even like once you do this, like this feels like something better served for like a smaller road to kind of follow this and kind of curve back in. And then it curves here, it either kind of just joins there or it like almost gets there and it kind of meanders away. Maybe it kind of meanders and goes around this way and loops. Maybe it connects over here or something. Kind of maybe place this one down, this node down. We'll kind of see what we got going on here. There we go. Kind of feels like, you know, open areas. We picked some areas, kind of made a roads, kind of were like, all right, cool, this is what we're gonna do, you know. And then maybe for bridges, let's see how lumpy, let's see how lumpy our road's looking. It's not looking too bad. I mean, there's a couple not so great areas, so maybe we'll fix that. We'll fix that a little bit. Landscape it just a little bit. So it can kind of just make sense better. Like, I don't mind little rises here and there, but like if there's a big old huge drop off or big huge dip, that's a little much. I feel like you should, not even like a, trying to say like I know better or I know as well as like a city, but I feel like you kind of would want to level out to that, just so probably easier to build a road in the future, but then also like you don't have to worry about like, oh, there's some lowland, here's some highland. It feels a little unnecessarily bumpy in the road. I mean, I'm wrong, it kind of probably would help with speeding. Probably definitely helps with speeding. Because you can't just, you know, you're not on a racetrack, you're not heading down the Autobahn. But some of it like this right here, where it built this whole wall thing, I feel like that's a little much. So I feel like maybe a slope would be nice here, but I kind of like the bump, you know. A little weird, I know. Let's take down our brush size. Click there. Bring it up. Bring it up to about there. Soften it out. Bring in our road right back in there. Yeah, see, that feels nice. Nice little over the hill, little bump. This feels, I'm not gonna lie, this feels a little unnecessary, so I think I might just get rid of this. Just because that, I kind of like the hill. See, I kind of like having this like hill here. It's a little bit of an overlook. So maybe it can kind of be like, hey, maybe we'll just do smaller roads over here. And then we can maybe let this be the connection out of town to the other side. What do you think? I'm thinking maybe we raise the road up just a wee bit. Let's actually step that down. So here it doesn't like it, but 15 feet. Sure. Nice and straight. Take you right back down to 0. looks like. And maybe we. I've always been wondering what is this? What would happen if I were to just say, just do one of these? Right. How does that disrupt the highway? Puts traffic lights on there, so of course we're gonna delete those. Oh, that. Whoops. It was a misclick. It was a misclick. Sorry about that. So maybe we restrict certain movements. So that we say no left turns here. You're here, you're going straight. Here, you're going straight, you turn right. Yeah, because then Mary's over here, here you go straight, here you can go left. Make them yield. This one. Yeah. Just a very informal connection to the road, to the town. Let's see about bridges. Can I get some bridges? Nope. Let's see what we got going on here. Medium. Go ahead and replace. Nice little bridge. What's this one? Progression of Grand Bridge. What's this bad boy look like? Oh, it's one of those. I see. 8-lane divided. Oh, that's massive. It's massive. Now this is a one-way. This is a one-way bridge. That's the only thing I don't like about the highway bridges, that they're one-ways. You can't make them a two-way. So I'd love for them to be like a nice little two-way bridge, but sigh, alas, they cannot be. Let's see. What do we call this nice little enclave? Let's see, what is it? It's a little peninsula island thing. What if I just called it River Isle Bridge? Would that sound like a bad name? Does that sound terrible? River Isle Bridge? Maybe. We'll do it for now. That's what we'll call it for right now. If it sounds bad, we'll change it. God, they really want the Poplar Street. They really want this to be Poplar Street. Oh. It's gonna be boring. Call it Main Street. let's come in here on our smaller roads. And let's kind of start. Whoa. What you doing there, game? Alright, turn off a couple of our snaps. And saying about here. Oh, that's highway. Sorry, my fault. I was wondering. I was like, why is it not putting zoning? I was like, why is it not putting any zoning on my road? That makes sense. It was highway. Could you imagine? Just right here, it's 80 miles an hour, just right there. No, we don't want that. So I feel like within here, I don't want to do such a strictly grid. I guess actually, now that I think about it, I'm thinking maybe we'll do kind of here, right? A node to there, curve over here, curve into there. It's a little wonky. Maybe fix that. We'll just go straight out and curve that way. There we go. That looks a bit better. And this one we can just kind of let straight. Ooh, that looks bad. So.
Is anyone seen my keys? Keys. What? One here?
Sorry about that. It's nothing. I just lost my key. I'm sure they'll turn up. They're for the brown sedan.
All right. Well, put a couple smaller, like little alley roads
Steal my car.
in here.
The old Hornbuckle mobile, please. Oh,
Go along
good.
this way.
Really
Oh, I completely shattered.
Thank you.
God, it really loves Umber Lane too. I've noticed some of the city names, it really loves those city
Commercial
names
district is
or
booming
the street
as
names.
the area is attracting more
That's good.
high-end stores, bringing the latest in luxury to our neighborhood. You can now shop for designer shoes while sipping a fancy local Jarva mate, or so my wife tells me. That's good for business and good for the community.
Thanks, Jim. We'll be back after this. Industry in the region is on the rise, and when business is doing well, that floats our boat.
There's no sinking this boat,
Maybe.
Glenda.
It's a fun little curve loop. I don't know. I don't have some grand master plan going on here. I just kind of building, kind of feeling it out. Little something there. Break it off. How steep is that? Oh, it's got a little bit of a bump. Like I said, I don't mind a few bumps occasionally, but some kind of can get smoothed out a little bit. That's not what I wanted to do. Just wanted to bring her in straight in. Turns on all these snaps. Just like that. There we go. Take a simple curve. Still got that weird wobble. There we go. There we go. Gave me the guideline this time. So yeah. I want to have some follows topography and then kind of cuts. All right, I'm following. All right, now I want to get over here. In fact, I actually want to come in a straight line. Maybe it's a little angled, but I'm not gonna come in straight in like that. All right, yeah, this is where it's going. Unfortunately, I gotta break it off here, guys. Sorry about that. Just when I started getting going and making moves and stuff, I gotta head out. But yes, that's what happens when you lose track of time sometimes. But thanks for watching. Appreciate you popping in if you did real quick. Yeah, you see what we're gonna kind of work on going forward here. Yeah, we're gonna build out a second city, essentially a second little small town kind of on this island. Gonna put the university here, probably a smaller scale population wise, nothing too crazy, but it'll be nice. And it'll be a nice little contrast to San Lobos over there. Some little smaller scale, nothing tall, nothing huge. Keep everything small, and then maybe it'll inspire us. But also, I'm thinking, should I put the university when we put it in? Should we put it in the middle of town, or should we put it here? I feel like middle of town, we're committing to like a college town kind of feel. But if we put it like right over here, maybe right against the water. Ooh. Or maybe at the end of the road here, maybe kind of back this up a little bit and let this whole kind of area be the campus. That could work too. I don't know. We'll find out though. I gotta head out, like I said. But anyway, thanks for watching, y'all. Appreciate it. I've been Never Was Cool, and I hope you guys are a lot cooler than me. I'll catch you next time.